Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. Happy Valentine's Day. Very late, 2 days late. But how's everybody doing out there? I am Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet Fan here, and I'm really excited to be here tonight talking anime with everybody out there. And we have a great show for you guys today. Um, Thank you for joining us. I'm ready to talk anime, and as usual, I cannot do this alone. I can only do this with one person, a person that understands me enough to drive me crazy, drive me mad, and that's none other than Doug Isaac. What's up, man?
Well, I'm. It's not snowing here. It's more of a red day here,
It's more of a what?
and I need to wash my hair. Okay, that wasn't bad.
Isaac, you don't have to.
That
Like
one.
it's
Okay.
puns. Puns as a requirement are not in your contract. You don't have to.
That wasn't even good in my book.
I'm aware that was bad. It was so bad that I have nothing to say apart from the fact that it was bad. Hey, man,
Yeah.
how you doing? I
It's
feel
going
that I
good.
haven't
I'm
seen
just
you all
tired.
day. I haven't talked to you all day for
Yeah.
some reason.
I haven't talked in a while.
Yeah, right.
Was it last year?
Well, it was before I dyed my hair red. Ah, you see that? I would look weird with red hair.
Badum Tish.
Wow, you're cruel. So, thank you guys for joining us at the Amateur Otaku Podcast. Thank you for being here. We're really excited to talk anime with you guys. If you guys love what we do here at the Amateur Otaku, make sure to go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that like button, and click on the bell for notifications so you do not miss any videos, you don't miss any streams, you don't miss any episodes that we put out there. Earlier today, we had a chance of providing our thoughts on the Promised Neverland Season 2, Episode 5 and 5.5. We talked about the anime, manga, and everything that's going on. And hope you guys are able to check it out once it goes up as a regular YouTube video. Now we're back with our regular scheduled show where we cover a show or a series or a movie, and give you our thoughts to get you interested, to get you through the door, so you can go check this out. And today we picked a very specific anime, a special anime, which kind of falls in line with a recommendation from one of our listeners. It also falls in line with the idea of Valentine's Day that just happened. Not that I'm big on celebrating stuff like that, but possibly a lot of you guys out there are people that like to celebrate this, or probably you're looking for something nice and sweet and charming to watch with your girlfriend, boyfriend, or significant other. And this show has a lot of charm, a lot of comedy, and I think pretty great complex characters for the type of show that it is. And I'm really happy that I saw it. I loved it. I love it to death. And Isaac, you were the one that brought this recommendation that someone gave you. So how about you talk a little bit about the show, what you know about it, and who recommended it? What are we talking about today?
We're talking about Snow White with the red hair. Focusing on a girl that easily draws focus to herself because of her red hair, which stands out among other people.
Mhm.
And then when she flees to another country, she befriends a prince there and that helps her finding her role, the role of her life, so to speak, while they both connect with each other.
Yeah.
Which is a TLDR version of the synopsis, I argue.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a synopsis there too, so I got some things to talk about. Boot. I don't know why it said it like Canadian, but yes, that's pretty much in a nutshell. Snow White with the Red Hair is an anime reimagining of elements of the Tale of Snow White, because there's no character that's really called Snow White in the show. But there's a lot of elements that you can tell were inspired and reinterpreted to make it work in this anime, which to me, if I were to pick what was the fairy tale, I would pick this anime 100% over any of the Grimm tales or any of the original tales of Snow White. Like, I like this version a lot better.
It's
but
apparently the manga has apparently not ended.
Yeah.
It's supposedly continuing in March this year, I believe.
And it already has 22 volumes. So this has been going for a while. Since 2006. That's 15 years. That is crazy. Crazy. I mean, Full Metal Alchemist, which I don't talk about that show at all, right? Full Metal has like
What is Full
27
Metal
volumes.
Alchemist? I've never heard of that show.
Yeah, right. Full Metal has 27 volumes. And when it was translated to an anime, it was 61 episodes. So far, we have 24 episodes of Snow White with the Red Hair, and hopefully we get a season 3, because I think that the studio that's worked on it has done a very good job on working on the show, and it's been a lot of fun. But Isaac, you never said who recommended it. Who recommended the show?
Well, my little sis Elizabeth has asked me to covering this, be it in a simple review for Wobam or watching it at all for I dare say almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years, but I never had a chance to for some reason I never got a chance to watch it until now.
So what do you think? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's, how should I put it? If I were able to drink, I would probably brought some fine cheese and a glass of wine while putting it. No, scratch the cheese, because the cheese is this show plenty of. So it would be.
Oh my god!
I mean, it's true. I mean, but cheese doesn't equal bad.
Agreed.
I mean,
and it's actually high-end cheese. Like, this is very fancy cheese. You know what I mean? Because you know how things are cheesy for the sake of being cheesy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is more like kawaii cheese. Like, it's cheesy because it's cute. It has cute moments with the characters and stuff like that. And it feels in tone with the rest of the story. You know what I mean? It doesn't like stand out like,
exactly.
Ooh. It's not like when you go to a restaurant, right? And somebody takes a pot of melted cheese and just pours it on top of what you're eating. And it's like unloading melted cheese. It's not like that. It's the right amount. It's like cheese on the side that you dip into. We're going really hard on these cheese pun, aren't we? It's just the right amount of, it's manchego. The type of cheese you have with a nice bottle of wine. #cheese. So
yeah, but I mean, considering what type of anime this one is, it's a fairy tale about it's a romance. It's sort of like I'm looking at after the definition of this type of anime. You can continue.
Oh, it's a shoujo. It's a shoujo anime.
Shoujo, and I was just thinking that about explaining what shoujo indicates, because shonen people are.
So I actually did the research, so you don't have to look for it. I actually did the research. So shoujo doesn't mean that it's fairy tale anime. It's just it's anime directed to the demographic of young teenage girls. So so it doesn't really talk about the type of anime or genre, because you can have a plethora. It could be science fiction, it could be fighting, it
Yeah.
could be love, it could be history, it could be all that. But when they talk about shoujo anime, they're talking about the demographic, that this is mostly directed to young teenage girls and to the type of things or topics that they would talk about, romance, feelings, and stuff like that. Coming of age. That's the demographic. Which I would even say that to a degree, Violet Evergarden could be considered a shoujo as well.
Mm.
To a degree, um, even though that one probably more for more an adult audience. Um, but yeah, that's what this
Considering
is
its
considered.
theme and settings and all that, and what it cover, yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah. So definitely it's a shoujo anime through and through. But man, what a great show, and also what a fantastic job by Studio Bones. The animation is nice, it's bright. Um, all the settings are beautiful. The character designs are great. Um, and this is not a new anime. Like, I mean, it's an anime that came out 6 years ago, but it holds up very nicely. I mean, Studio Bones is always known for making great shows, beautiful shows. Also, I gotta say, before we jump into the show per se, um, the music of this show had me floored. Like the orchestral work of the music in between scenes, the soundtrack was phenomenal. But that being said, at least for season one, I gotta tell you, Isaac, I hated the opening theme and I hated the ending theme.
Okay,
Like
why is that?
I because it felt that they belonged to a different show. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like for example, throughout the show, you have all this like fancy string quartet music with little woodwinds, and it was all like this all this royalty or that type of ambiance that you would feel like in romantic music from that era, right? But then the opening felt like I was watching Sailor Moon in terms of the music and the upbeat kind of music and the instruments,
Okay,
like they
in terms of instrument and all that, yes, that I can.
instrument, the genre the song was like a big strong K-pop kind of thing, and I'm like,
But I wouldn't say that I would argue that the imagery that you use for the intro and outro works perfectly.
oh, 100%, 100% agree. I have no. It's just the music. It felt that instead of allowing me to sink in to the world quicker, it kind of threw me off. And I don't know if it has to do with my music background or mainly because the music within the show is so phenomenal. I maybe wanted something more in that tone or in that air as opposed to what we got. Like in season two, the music is a little bit the opening for season two and the ending is a little bit more tamed. But I felt it's and you know me, I rarely complain about music. This is something that just threw me off like a lot. Like it's like also it kind of felt like you know how we talked about cheese because cheese. So we
Yeah,
talked about how in the show you have the right amount of cheese. So every
yeah.
time I heard the opening and the ending, I felt that someone took me to a cheese bucket and submerged my face into cheese. That's how I felt every time I heard it. Like it was just too much in for my sensibilities. Um, but still,
It was all right in my book.
the show was good. Okay, so we're gonna start talking about the show. Um, I want to go ahead and let me put in the banner so everybody knows that we're going to start talking about the show. I have a quick summary, Isaac, and I'm going to start talking about, and then we'll jump into our discussion. Are you ready, good sir?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So here is a synopsis for Snow White with the red hair. Shiryuki is a young woman determined to live her life on her own terms in the kingdom of Tamburn. She spends her days honing her skills as a herbalist slash physician for her community, treating the sick and the frail with her herbal concoctions, knowledge, and kindness. But what sets her apart is not just her skills with medicinal herbs, but the fact that she was born with stunning and beautiful red hair. Her world is turned upside down when her scarlet looks catch the eye of the Prince of Tambron, Raj, who immediately sends for her with authority and commands her to become one of his concubines. Determined to live a life she can claim as her own, she runs away from Tamperon and encounters Prince Zen of the Kingdom of Clarence. Enchanted by her bravery, beauty, and spirit, he fights for her honor and offers her the choice to follow him to Clarence. Her choice leads to a story of social classes, politics, love, and self realization known as the anime and manga Snow White with the Red Hair. Based in the manga by Sorata Ikizuki, directed by Masahiro Ando, and produced by Studio Bones. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the imagery. All the different the ways. I think we can kind of spoil the pilot, right? Because we already spoiled it in
Yeah.
the summary. But it is so funny how, at least in the first episode, after that it kind of becomes like a slight nuance, like a running theme that it's kind of like in a different layer. But like in the first episode, it's kind of funny how the mangaka went out of her way to make fun of the fairy tale. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I know exactly what you mean.
and I found that pretty charming because and let me start with that. This show is charming. I'm not gonna curse, but I'm gonna give you the intention. It's charming AF. Isaac, and you know that those are the words that I used when I tweeted at you the other day. I'm like, this show is charming AF. Like, the characters are great. I love the main character. It's a strong female lead. Um, but more importantly, the prince is genuinely charming. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the characters are also complex. Like, these are not cookie cutter characters. Like, they all have like struggles that you can sympathize with. And even though it is this fantastic setting in terms of it being a kingdom and royalty and blah blah blah, it is meant to feel grounded. Like, they treat real life situations with real life solutions. There's no magic involved. Like, it's all like up to a degree with a certain degree of suspension of disbelief. It's all treated like if this was a real life thing. You know what I mean? And I appreciate it for that. Um, but of course, one of the first lines of the show is when the prince stands up, which, if we remember the tale, the person asking the question to the mirror was the queen, which was Snow White's stepmother, right? In this
Yeah.
case, it is the it's the prince Raj, which is this horrible person, and he's screaming mirror mirror on the wall, and the first thing you hear is his attendant going, sir, he's not a mirror, he's an actual person. And I'm like, okay. Like, from there I was like, okay, now this is the kind of show that it's going to be. Um so that was a nice twist. That was just starting from there. I like how it didn't waste any time in telling you, no, this is not what you think it is. This is something different. So I like how it didn't waste any time in doing that. What were your first impressions when you started watching the show?
It's kind of sort of like you, because, that when I to some degree I got a bit why there was homage to Snow White for the whole mirror, mirror on the wall talk. It kind of gave me Cinderella vibes, actually, with the whole. She's a determined young girl that wants to. No, sorry, not Cinderella. Beauty and the Beast.
Like this independent force, like Belle is, or at least how Belle
Yeah.
is portrayed. I gotcha. I gotcha. I can see that.
That where some jackass noble know-it-all wants to have her because, well, her looks and all, and she decides to. But instead of being forced because of her of the one she meets, she wants to move to that country in order to find herself, so to speak. And like
So you're saying like Raj is like a Gaston kind of character, you mean?
kinda,
Okay, I
kinda.
can see that. I can see that.
Although people feel the opposite about him, if you know what I mean, considering how they are looking at him at the beginning of the what they are calling him at the beginning of the series.
Right, right. He's not a beloved person in the community. He's like hated by everybody.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
And but then we also have what's it? Then we have the whole with Sen and the whole relationship between Sen and her. Shigiraki same Beauty and Beast, because she starts off as a normal, quote unquote, normal girl that has, I wouldn't say street knowledge, so to speak, but she has been outside. She knows townspeople and all that. Yes,
Right.
she has knowledge that impress him, while he has knowledge and experience and all that. Yeah, being a prince, sort of like how the Beast is trying to has experience, knowledge, like he was prior to the hex, and he learns just like she learns from him to some degree. She learn, and they both learn from each other, so to speak. And that's why I feel that even though there is a lot no Snow White element there, I argue that there's more parallels to Beauty and the Beast with the whole how they there's something that have her stick with him and went prior to it all, and that they evolve and learn from each other, so to speak. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but
I don't think you're overthinking it, but I think at least from what I see in, oh, by the way, and it's not Shigaraki, it's Shirayuki.
Shirayuki, sorry.
You called her Shigaraki. I'm like,
I'm
oh
a
no,
bit
Zen.
tired. Okay, I'm a
No,
bit
it's fine.
tired. Okay.
I just imagined out of nowhere Zen decaying.
Sorry, sis. Sorry.
No, but that's funny. But I think that it's not that you're overthinking it, but I just think that using Belle as a comparison, for my taste, belittles the character of Shiryuki, because one of the biggest things that I like about her character, which, for example, Belle doesn't have, is that yes, Belle is a dreamer and Belle wants to have this great life, right? But Belle at the same time is kind of within herself, like she's like just thinking about her, and she's really not doing anything. Like all she does is read books and help her dad. That's really all she does. As
Yeah.
opposed to Shiryuki has a career.
Yeah.
She's literally
I'm
like a
not saying
doctor.
that she.
Oh
I
no,
don't say that.
no, but what I mean is, as a character, for me, and like I said, I didn't say that your observation is incorrect. Like I can see what you're saying, but what I like about it is that this character goes beyond that, because as a lead female character, she has this agency. She has this, and she has this drive and this desire to help people and to help the people around her with the knowledge that she has, and do something for her society, for anyone around her, right? But more importantly, what I like the most about the show, even though the show kind of goes out of its way of telling you, this is my life, this is my choice. I mean, it only says it to you in your face, like, I don't know, every 3 episodes at the beginning and at the end. Like, it makes it a point to tell you that this is a character that has like a lot of agency from the beginning. And I like that a lot. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't just tell you that she wants to have this freedom in life. She takes action, as opposed to most Disney princesses where everything just kind of like happens to them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
every like she's like the most Disney princesses every throughout their adventures is them reacting to what's going on, as opposed to like I would say that the person that I would compare the most, I would compare her more to Fa Mulan,
Yeah.
because that's a character that has like agency and makes like her own actions define who she is, as opposed to what's going on and how she reacts to everything. Which is why I think this is one of the best female leads that I've seen in a show, that's in this kind of in a show period, in a while. So I really enjoyed that a lot about the show.
Yeah. She.
um
The, the show. She's smart and brave, but yet
mhm,
she's allowed to show emotion and
mhm,
be a human instead of just
exactly.
like some sort of like this goes to both way, but people don't think emotional and strength goes hand to hand when they write characters,
Yep.
well written characters, in that. And
Yep.
I argue that she is she she fill all the spots of both emotional and strong and all that gas.
Yep.
In order to feel human,
Yep.
if you know what I mean.
Which is why, for example, and this is not to say that a character like the Major, right? Um, um, from Ghost in the Shell is not a great female character. It's just a different type of lead. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because she is more
she
android than
makes
human.
sense in terms of context of the story.
Exactly. 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 Because there, the only reason you kind of consider her slightly emotionless is because of the technological advances. It's because of the upgrades that she's received over the years and everything that she's been through. And of course, whatever they've done to her head. But in the case of her, you see all the dimensions. Like you see her struggles, you see her crying, and you see herself pick herself back up. And what I love about it the most is that the relationship dynamic between, like you were saying earlier, and you were describing it very, very well, with Zen and Shiroyuki, is that this is not a codependent relationship. This is a relationship where they both push each other to be better, and that is the fundamental base of their friendship, of their romance, and and how and I like how everyone around them at least in the beginning, thinks that that's not how the relationship works, but then they become more accepting of the relationship as they understand that the reason that they're drawn to each other is because of how driven they are with their very different goals. And I think that makes for a real and healthy relationship to portray, which is
Yeah,
really hard to do.
exactly.
And that's like really hard to do. And yes, people will probably start screaming now, that's all cheese. And yes, it's cheese, but in real life, even in the madness of life, a healthy relationship with another person practically stems from that base. You know what I mean? And a lot of great, powerful people have this relationship, whether it's romantic or not. Even if it's platonic, you always have that unity, that kind of synergy.
Exactly.
And this show portrays that very, very well. And I like that in no way, shape, or form she allows herself to be portrayed as a damsel in distress. Like I kind of find it funny how Zen always tends to arrive at the right time. And what I mean by that is and I think this is very smart. And this show has pretty the writing on this show is pretty smart because one of the ways that she keeps up the independence of the character Shiyuki is that whenever she's in a big bind, we know that Zen is going to come rescue her, right? Zen is going to come help her. But when by the time that Zen arrives, he always arrives at a point where she's already done everything she can do.
Yeah, she isn't just sitting down screaming,
Yes.
"Help! Help!"
Exactly. And I love that because that is, I think, so powerful, so awesome, and it makes me enjoy watching her because she's not, and it makes it more exciting, Instead of seeing her, like you said, waiting, help, free me, no, ow. She's doing everything she can. See, like one of the best examples of that is the episode where she's like kidnapped and she's super smart and she does all these things and uses her knowledge as a herbalist and all that stuff to kind of like get to a point where she can get away. And it's not to the moment where she's exhausted all her resources that Zen arrives. And that makes the save go like, yes, as opposed to you going like, yeah, he saved her, I knew it was going to happen. You know what I mean? And we knew it was going to happen, but because we see her take so much action, we don't get distracted by the fact that we know that the save is going to happen. Because we got to say that the show, when it comes to violence and stuff like that, it's pretty tame.
Yeah,
Even
it
though
does
that
show some violence, but yeah,
exactly, but it's pretty tame. It's not like
I,
watching.
I
It's
don't.
not. Go ahead.
I don't know about you. I was thinking about it when you talked about how it's portrayed and all that. Have you
Mhm.
played any Tales of games? Tales of
I have.
Vesperia, Tales of
I have not. I have
Symphony?
not.
I do wonder if the illustrator either have worked or is inspired by one of those games
I don't know.
because
Maybe.
because those game uh, designs look extremely familiar.
Not only that, this show gave me a lot of Ghibli vibes.
I wouldn't say
Especially,
Ghibli vibes.
and here's why. Here's why. A lot of the animation and the color palettes remind me a lot of Nino Kuni.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
least
yeah.
with
I'm more on the Tales of vibes,
oh,
if I'm honest.
right, but you can't deny that Zen's older brother looks like Hal. Like almost exactly like Hal.
Eh.
He looks like Hal. Come on. He even has like a
I
cape.
send you a picture of the characters designs for
Tales of
the
Desperia.
Tales of characters, so you can show it off.
Let's let's see if we can show with. Let's
I,
see
I
if we
tell
can.
you when I send it.
Yes, just let me know. We got a notification. 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 Okay.
There you have it.
Okay. Let me see. You know what? I can see that. I can see what you're saying. It being like a Tails game. I can see that. I can see what you're saying. The character designs, yeah, I can see it. I can see it a lot. I mean, it could be. It could be. I mean, has Studio Bones work with video games? Have they
I
done
don't know.
have they done video games at all?
I
Because
have no
that
idea.
that would be the question to ask. Because if they've worked with video games before, I wouldn't be surprised. That's probably why we're considering that. Let me see here. So, I mean, they work with games, but none of the they haven't worked with any of the Tales series.
Yeah,
Ooh, Professor Layton and versus Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Interesting.
yeah,
Um,
that makes sense.
but
Now
yeah,
that I think of it.
um, but yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this show, and I like how we have. First of all, it makes fun of the Snow White fairy tale, but then it also kind of uses a lot of the ideas of the themes of Snow White, and I like how it's called Snow White with the red hair, not because we see a Snow White, but because the character has the Snow White quality of being someone that draws attention. Because that's really what it is. That's the point. The idea that her red hair makes her stand out. Just like the mirror would say that Snow White was the fairest of them all because she would stand out in a crowd. The same thing, that's the whole point. So, and I like how in different ways they find different creative ways of making her hair a topic of conversation in different settings. But I like how it's always kind of different. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it's also a running not I don't want to say gimmick, and I don't want to say MacGuffin either, but it's like a running theme. Like it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick of the show as it moves on. Like, oh, have you ever gotten in trouble because of red hair? Whenever someone describes her, red hair. Whenever they describe her, oh, like an apple. Because they can't compare it to anything else. They always say that it's red like an apple, which that's like wink wink, Snow White and
Snow
apples.
White. Wink, wink.
Exactly. So it has a lot of little things like that. Um, and the idea of her being the fairest or being the most or the one that attracts the most attention um, um, always be something that drives the plot forward in different ways with different stories. Like the last little bit that I saw in season 2 is now that someone's coming from across the country because of her red hair. But which I'm gonna keep watching this show. I think I've seen 2 episodes now of season 2, but I've seen season 1 also.
Likewise.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep watching and see how it develops. Um, and all
Can
the
we
other
talk
characters,
about how she managed to garner Sen's trust? Because I feel that it was rather genius and it gave me a chuckle,
yes,
honestly.
yes. So the twist is, it happens in the pilot, and that's how you know the type of character that she is, how strong she is. Go ahead and tell it. Say it because I love it. Say it.
Well, she offered to help Sen with a wound that he had, and he refused first because he didn't know if he could trust her, which she realized and understood. So she uses his sword to hurt herself, and then using her herbs on her.
Yeah.
Sort of like how you can see people in action movies, sort of like taking one sip of a bottle of water or something just to prove that the said water isn't poisoned or something.
Right. So yeah, and that's how much confidence she has in her skills. Because that's another thing. She always talks about how she has a lot to learn and how she knows that she doesn't know everything. There's not a character that feels that they know everything. But at the same time, she is very confident in what she does know, which to me is a great quality to have in a character. And and I like how Zen, being his own character, which by the way I really like his character, because he's like a real noble person, whatever. But also his drive and the way he demonstrates his beliefs and wanting the best for his people and wanting to learn from his people. Um, he's a very likable character. Zen also kind of acts and is portrayed as as how the audience reacts to Shirayuki.
How do you
You know
mean?
what I mean? He's kind of like whenever she does something, it's like we're supposed to be the ones that, like him, is falling in love with her because of her decisions and the way she handles things. And I certainly felt that way in that moment. Like I was surprised when she wounds herself just to prove a point. And I was just like, the same face that he had is the face that I had.
But
I was like,
whoa.
exactly. I was like, damn, girl. Okay, I get it.
Insert Keanu Reeves. Whoa.
Oh my god, that's bad. Whoa. Um, but and then the cool thing is that right after this, and guys, we're not spoiling anything. We're really staying in pilot territory. So if you like what you're hearing, go watch the show because the show is great. There's a lot of the show that we're not talking about, but the idea of the Amateur Taco, you know what it is. We give you the crumbs that you need to know what a show is about, so you can go check it out. And so I love the twist that she hurts herself to heal him. And he exposes himself to the apple. He eats the apple, like, because he wasn't sure what was going on. And to create confidence, he kind of does the same thing as her, to then find out, because he has experience with poisons, to then find out that they were poisoned. And in this story, the prince is the one that gets poisoned, is not her. And she is left defenseless and unable to save him. And the only way that she can find a way to save him is by surrendering her life to Raj. And when she's about to do it, that's when Zen comes to save her, because that's when we find out that he has developed resistant to poisons and all that stuff. But that's a nice twist. Like she's still not a damsel in distress, because at the end of the day, she chose to do what she can to help the prince, to help this kid, which she doesn't even know is a prince yet, which makes it an even more noble sacrifice. But I like that in every way, when they're telling the story, they always find a way to put her in the driver's seat. And I like how that continues to happen throughout the show, even when you introduce new characters that bring in new challenges and stuff like that. I like the show, Isaac. I like it a lot.
I am too. I'm too. And I'm very
Um,
glad that my sis recommended it.
yeah.
And
Te- Tell her to give us. She needs to give us more recommendations.
agreed. And it just made me feel much more confident that this was a show perfect for February. That's for
Yes.
sure.
Yes. It was. It was. It was. It's what's the word? Hook, line, and sinker. It was perfect. So I think we've done a great job talking about the show, Isaac. Is there anything else in particular that you want to discuss? I think we've done quite a bit.
No, I don't. I don't really know where. I don't know what else to say then. If you if you need if you're just wanting some cheese that gives you some
That is the
smile off
worst
your
way
face.
to promote this show.
Okay, 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 okay. If you like to have a big smile on your face and just dare I say, especially if you need a palate cleanser for said X action series movie or something other thing. If you want to have a more positive emotional turmoil, or what should I say? You know how I called Detective Pikachu sort of like a palate cleanser in terms of emotion after watching Endgame. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sort of
It's
like
it.
that. It's the perfect palate cleanser that just can give you a smile on your face, and you can just sit back, relax, and just smile.
Yep.
Uh, not for dumb reasons, a la Fast and Furious or something like that, but for sweet and heartful moments.
Yep. Yep. I think it's safe to say if you like romance stories, watch Snow White with the red hair. If you love anime with great, strong female leads, believable, realistic, and relatable, strong female leads, Snow White with the red hair is for you. Um, if you like something that's short and sweet, I mean, there's only 24 episodes of the anime. There's one OVA also, which I don't know if it's a continuation or is a recap OVA. I'm not sure. Um,
I wonder if they are going to. I haven't seen season 2, so this is just me speculating. Granted, but I do wonder now with the manga continuing in March if they are going to continue the anime or if they are one day rebooting it. I mean, who knows?
I mean, it has not gotten a new episode in 5 years. So it all depends if it blows up
The,
again at some point. So
I mean, stranger things has happened.
correct, as in Bleach coming back. Yeah, I agree. so
Yeah,
so
exactly. Bleach was pretty much dead outside of mobile games
yep,
in-
and it came and it's coming back
prior
with a
to this,
passion.
and
Yep,
now it comes back with the anime, a new story, even
yep,
being a part of the Jump Force and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yep. So go watch it. I mean, Snow White with with the red hair is it's great. It's funny, it's wholesome, and it's a good time. So you should go check it out. If you're looking for a fantasy filled magic anime, this is not it. But if you like, I would even say if you like stories like Pride and Prejudice, like all that Jane Austen stuff, which I gotta admit I have a soft spot for that because I love Pride and Prejudice. And Yes, I am man enough to admit it. Um, this is a good show. Go watch it. Go enjoy it. It's available on Funimation. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on Crunchyroll. Isaac, did you see it on Crunchyroll or Vakanim?
Back, I mean, I can check a quick. I can be just a quick check if it's on Crunchyroll here in Sweden too. If it is on
I
Sweden, it
know that
usually is.
the show as a whole, what we've gotten so far, which is 2 seasons, 12 episodes a season, it's on Funimation. I'm trying to see if the OVA is on
It's
Funimation as
not
well.
on Crunchyroll here.
Okay,
It's
so
not.
you only saw it in. So
Back
let's see. Now I know the seasons are.
Which and according to my sis, although according to my sis, the second season is diverging for the manga. Although
Oh,
she
really?
says that it's worth, yeah, but it's worth. Maybe it's because of the whole hiatus and all that. Yes,
Now, has your sister read the book?
I believe so. I can't.
Oh, nice,
I believe so.
nice.
Don't quote me on that, but I wouldn't be surprised considering how
Don't
much I
worry.
enjoy the.
Quoting you is Twitter's job.
Oh boy.
Hashtag cheese. So go watch the show. It's awesome. You'll really enjoy it. If you've
It's
seen
really
it and you
adorable.
enjoy it, yes, it's adorable. If you've seen it and you enjoy it, let us know your thoughts on Snow White with the red hair. If you have any other recommendations for us, please let us know. We want to cover the shows that you want us to cover. Like we said in the past, we're working on Villain Saga. To cover that, it was recommended by our subscriber JJ. We just covered the recommendation by Isaac's sister, which was Noah with the red hair. And we will be back next week. Next week, we'll be back with our coverage of Attack on Titan, which is hypening in intensity. So we'll be back on Monday with that. And we'll be covering a music anime that a lot of people love for the last couple of years. We're going to be covering Your Lie in April next Tuesday. So we got a great calendar of shows for you guys. We're still going to be rolling here on season 2. We'll be doing this for 2 years. Isaac, it's exciting. We're going to be I'm going to be working on revamping the show in a little bit, but we're working on keeping this going. 2 episodes a week, getting people excited, covering more shows, and bringing you even more and more content. So help us build the YouTube community. Help us build on Twitter. Help us build on Instagram. I'm going to try and put a couple of more polls out there to start feeling out what you guys want us to cover. I actually put out a question a little bit ago on the Amateur Otaku Twitter account, talking about how March is considered like Women's History Month, and we wanted like your thoughts on how it would look to do like a strong female lead shows and stuff. And we talked about our interest of covering Ghost in the Shell 2: Innocence, the OVA based on Ghost in the Shell, and our good
Which
friend
I
Landon.
own.
Yes, our good friend Landon Isaac recommended to do an episode or a segment where we list off our favorite female characters in anime or shows, which could work like a nice segment. What do you think?
Yeah.
So we listened to what you guys put out there. So let us know your thoughts, and we can continue building a bigger and better show. Isaac, where can we find you and your madness?
You can find me over at Emblemaniac on Twitter, and you can find my work over at Wobum Entertainment.
And you can find me on Twitter at the Scarlet Fan 52, on Instagram Scarlet Fan 52, and on Facebook as Brandon Alvarado. Get original music, poems, ideas, pictures, anime stuff, crazy stuff. Follow us on
And
Twitter.
and hopefully working on finish that post he has talked about for a long time.
A lot of things. I You can follow us on Twitter at Amateur Otaku Pod. Send us a direct message, comments, thoughts. Talk to us. Let us know what you're thinking about anything anime related. And you can send us an email with your recommendations and thoughts. AmateurOtakuRTF@gmail.com. That is AmateurOtakuRTF@gmail.com. We look forward to seeing you next week, guys, with more Attack on Titan, the final season, and your lie in April. We will see you guys. Have it awesome. Peace.
Peace.